A loyal dog refused to leave a little girl's side. Her father feared the worst and set up a hidden camera. What he discovered wasn't aggression, it was a miracle happening every single night. This is a true story of loyalty that will change how you see man's best friend forever. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because stories like this deserve to be shared. Now, let's dive in. The worn fabric of the sofa still carried traces of jasmine perfume, a ghost of happier days. 2 years had passed since Sarah's death, yet the couch had transformed into something sacred, a sanctuary watched over by an unyielding sentinel. Mark paused in the entryway, briefcase in hand, observing his daughter. 3-year-old Emma sat cross-legged on the cushions, auburn curls bouncing as she squeezed a rubber toy. Behind her, their golden retriever Max pressed his body against hers, chin resting atop her small head like a living shield. "Max, you're crushing her again," Mark said, managing a tired smile. The dog's gaze shifted upward, aware but unmoved. "Come on, boy, down." Max's amber eyes held steady, almost defiant. "What's gotten into you?" Emma twisted around, grinning. "He loves me, Daddy." "Maybe a bit too much," Mark muttered, dropping his keys onto the side table with a clatter that echoed through the hollow house. The silence had been suffocating since Sarah passed during Emma's birth. After the funeral, joy had drained from Mark's world. Only Max remained constant. Sarah had brought the puppy home years ago, declaring him family. Mark had teased her endless affection for the animal. Now, with Sarah gone, Max had become Emma's shadow, sleeping outside the nursery, whimpering when she cried. Initially, his devotion seemed touching. Then it became unsettling. Small changes accumulated. Max refused to leave Emma's bedroom, even skipping meals. He'd force open her door nightly, sleeping nose to crib. Mark found it endearing at first, but then Max began snarling when others approached her, even Grandma Patricia. "Something's not right," Patricia remarked one afternoon, attempting to fold laundry while the dog tracked her every gesture. "He watches me like I'm a threat."
"He's just protective," Mark offered weakly. "He's obsessed." Mark stayed silent. He couldn't admit that sometimes he felt unwelcome near his own child. One morning, Emma coughed in her sleep. Before Mark could react, Max was there, pawing her back until she stirred. Through the cracked door, Mark watched, frowning. The movements seemed deliberate, almost human. That evening, he confided in Patricia. "He's getting worse, follows her constantly, even growled at the postal worker." Patricia sighed. "Mark, perhaps he senses something wrong. Animals detect things we can't." "Don't start with superstitious nonsense, Mom." His voice cracked. "I can't lose her, too." Patricia fell silent. They both remembered the hospital, sterile sheets, the physician's somber apology. Sarah gone within moments, leaving him with an infant and crushing guilt. For 2 years, Mark worked late shifts at the repair shop, returned to babysitter reports, and collapsed on that same sofa, always finding Max there, guarding Emma like a soldier at post. But lately, devotion had twisted into defiance. Friday afternoon, Patricia attempted to take Emma to the playground. As she lifted the child, Max lunged between them, barking sharply, not attacking, but warning. Emma wailed. Patricia screamed. Mark rushed in. "Max, back off!" The dog froze, chest heaving. "I said back!" Max lowered his head but refused to retreat. Mark seized his collar, dragging him to the porch. "Pull that again and you're gone, understand?" Emma sobbed inside. "No, Daddy, Max is good." Mark's anger dissolved into exhaustion. "He's not good, sweetheart. He's confused." That night, Max scratched at the door for hours, whining softly. Mark lay awake, the sound burrowing beneath his skin. What if Patricia was right? What if the dog knew something he didn't? Morning found Max curled beside Emma again, body curved protectively, her tiny fingers tangled in his fur. Mark watched as Max's nose nudged her shoulder every few minutes, as if confirming she breathed. "Why do you do that?" Mark whispered. Only their synchronized breathing answered. By midday, worry had consumed him. He searched online. Dogs overprotective of children? Can dogs sense illness? Dog behavior changes around toddler? Every result felt absurd. Finally, he slammed his laptop shut. "Fine, I'll find out myself." That evening, while Emma napped, he installed a small motion sensor camera on the bookshelf facing the couch. Patricia entered mid-setup. "Spying will help? I need to know what he does when I'm not watching." She frowned. "Mark, sometimes you see monsters where there's only love." He ignored her. "If he's turning aggressive, I have to know before someone gets hurt." The red indicator blinked, recording. Mark stood watching them, Emma asleep against Max's chest, the dog half-closed eyes maintaining vigil. "Let's see what you're hiding," Mark murmured. As darkness fell, Max lifted his head, staring directly into the lens, as if aware. Then he lowered it back onto the child's hair, immovable. Tomorrow the truth would play on a screen, but tonight only one creature understood how close death had already come.
Before we continue our story, let's take just 5 seconds. If this story is touching your heart, please press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us because many more beautiful stories are coming. Thank you, my dear friend. Now, let us continue. Morning arrived unnaturally quiet. Mark woke to the kettle whistling and Patricia humming. Max wasn't scratching anymore. Somehow, that felt worse. He poured coffee and checked his phone. 3 notifications from the camera app. Motion detected, 2:14 a.m., 3:09 a.m., 4:01 a.m. His stomach tightened. 3 times. He tapped play. Grainy footage revealed the dimly lit couch. Emma slept on her side beneath a blanket. Max lay curled behind her. For a moment, nothing. Then Emma stirred, breathing shallow, a soft whimper escaping. Max's head snapped up. He nudged her shoulder once, twice. She didn't respond. The dog stood, pawing her back, then gently pushed beneath her arm until she rolled slightly upright. Her chest rose again. Mark froze, hand trembling as he fast-forwarded. At 3:09, the pattern repeated. Emma coughed, body stiffening. Max whimpered, licked her cheek, and propped himself behind her, forcing her upright. Patricia entered the frame carrying a blanket. Max growled softly. She scolded him and left. Immediately, he settled back down, paw on Emma's chest, eyes open until her breathing steadied. By 4 a.m., Mark couldn't breathe. He advanced to the final clip, then stopped abruptly. Emma's chest barely moved. Max sprang up, whining, pacing frantically. He pressed his nose to her mouth, barked once, quiet, almost pleading. When she didn't react, Max did something extraordinary. He placed his mouth gently over her nose, exhaled, then licked her lips and lifted her chin with his paw. Emma gasped, coughed, began crying softly. Max moaned and lay down, head on her back again, as if afraid she'd stop breathing if he looked away.
Mark's eyes burned. He paused the video, whispered, "My God." Patricia appeared behind him. "What's wrong?" He turned the phone toward her. "He's not guarding her from us. He's been keeping her alive." They watched silently, every nudge, every panicked movement, every moment Max sensed danger before it materialized. Mark leaned back, voice breaking. "All those nights he barked, all those times I yelled at him." He covered his face. "He was trying to tell me." Patricia touched his shoulder. "You didn't know." He shook his head. "No, but he did." By afternoon, they sat in the pediatrician's office. The doctor reviewed the footage, eyes widening. "That's sleep apnea, severe. Her airway collapses during deep sleep. She could have—" He stopped himself. "Treatment needs to start immediately, but that dog likely saved her life." That evening, Mark brought Emma home, holding her closer than ever. Max met them at the door, tail low, eyes uncertain. Mark knelt, voice breaking. "Come here, boy." Max hesitated, then approached slowly. Mark wrapped his arms around him. "You weren't protecting her from us. You were protecting her from death." The dog pressed his head against Mark's chest and exhaled deeply. For the first time in years, Mark cried, not from grief, but gratitude. Over the week that followed, Emma began using a breathing monitor at night. Max still refused to sleep anywhere else, and Mark no longer tried to stop him. Sometimes Mark would wake at 2 a.m., peek into the living room, and find them in their familiar position. Emma curled up, Max behind her, head resting lightly on her hair. One morning, sunlight streaming through the curtains, Patricia smiled from the kitchen. "Look at that. He hasn't budged." Mark glanced at the couch, where Emma giggled, feeding Max bits of cereal. "He stays," Mark said softly, "wherever she goes." Patricia chuckled. Sarah would have approved. Mark smiled faintly. She taught him to protect family. He never forgot. Later that evening, Mark printed a frame from the footage, Max with his paw on Emma's chest, eyes glowing in darkness. He placed it beside Sarah's photo on the mantel. Beneath it, he wrote, "Not all heroes stand on two legs." As daylight faded, Emma climbed onto the couch, the same one her mother used to rest on. She nestled between the cushions, Max sliding behind her in that familiar posture, chin resting gently on her head. Mark watched from the doorway, camera still running, not for proof anymore, but to remember. "Keep watching her, boy," he whispered. Max's tail thumped once, slow and certain. As the house settled into silence, the little girl and the dog drifted to sleep together, exactly where love had meant them to be. Months passed.
Emma's condition improved with treatment, and the doctor called her recovery remarkable, made possible by instinct. Mark knew better. It wasn't instinct, it was devotion. Max grew older, muzzle turning silver, but his habits never changed. Every night he checked Emma's breathing before lying down. When she started preschool, Max waited by the window until she returned home, tail wagging like the world made sense again. One autumn morning, Emma hugged him tight and whispered, "You're my angel, Max." Mark stood in the doorway, eyes wet, realizing Sarah's love had never truly left their home. It had simply found a new guardian. Sometimes love doesn't speak or shout. It just breathes quietly beside you, watching and protecting until you're strong enough to stand on your own.
Would you trust your pet if they started acting strangely? This incredible true story proves that sometimes animals see what humans can't, and their instincts can mean the difference between life and death. If this story moved you, please hit that like button right now. It helps stories like Max and Emma's reach people who need to hear them. And if you believe that love doesn't need words, that the most powerful bonds are shown through action, then subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another heartwarming story. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the bravest or most incredible thing your pet has ever done? Have you ever witnessed animal intuition that seemed almost supernatural? Share your stories in the comments below. I read every single one, and your story might be featured in an upcoming video. Thank you for watching, and remember, the next time your pet acts strange, maybe they're trying to tell you something important. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to check out these other amazing animal stories on screen right now.